Today we're going to continue on with our rookie recap series, and the rookie we're going to cover today is Isaiah Spiller from the Chargers. And it wasn't the greatest rookie season, but I think we got some stuff to look at from a dynasty fantasy football standpoint that you might be interested in, maybe investing, maybe at least giving a look at for the near future. But here's ADP right now. This is fresh in January, just from a few days ago. Right now he's being valued as the RB50. 155th player off the board on average, ADP of 158, so 158 to 160 range, somewhere around there. Drafts that he went off the board at 180, 157, 157, 166, 175, and 117. So those are the ranges there. So guys in his range: Zamir White, Donta Foreman, Darius Slayton, Samaje Perine, Gerald Everett, Brock Purdy, which he could be a big riser here next few weeks, Tyquan Thornton, Tom Brady, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Odell Beckham Jr. There's some guys you'll probably like better, but overall, currently in the minutia, when we're talking about Dynasty ADP, so usually when you're in this range, you just get your guy and you just move on with your draft. Here's more on his value. First off, let's just look at his age real quick. He's 21, turns 22 in August, so still a very young running back prospect. Got a lot more tread on the tires to go with. Looking at his dynasty value, this is what you want to really look at is the trend. So going into this time last year, rated pretty high, top 55, 60 pick overall, and we're looping down after the draft. Stock fell, and throughout the summer, he's in the 120s, and then once before the season, drops close to 150 range, hovers there. Drops more in November after he received some opportunities. Now he's in the 178s. Now he's pumping up a little bit in the offseason as Dynasty gamers look back at what the future could be holding for him. And then looking at the trade finder, what he could be traded for. This is DLF's calculator per se. Late third round pick, which makes sense. The thing about this is I wouldn't really try to do that right now, because in a lot of mock drafts I've been in, the late third, you'd be surprised at what running backs are there. Granted, most of these guys would be late round picks as well, but they got some athleticism, they got some juice in their legs, catch the ball in the backfield. You're looking at a lateral move-ish type deal for Isaiah Spiller. You don't know what's happening there. You might as well just hold, and maybe in your rookie draft, somewhere in your draft, you're like, fuck it, I don't like these players. You're in the third round, you're in the fourth round. Maybe you'll try and get Isaiah Spiller there. But honestly, I wouldn't try my best to go out and get him right now, because you can get him later in the offseason if he's a player trying to get. And I look at him as any other young running back prospect who is back in on the depth chart here. You know what? He's cheap. If it fits, it ships. And if I can get him, I'll try and get him, but I'm not going to overpay. I'm going to see what I can get. I'm going to diversify my portfolio. Looking at his stats here, it was non-existent. He had 18 rushing attempts, 41 yards, 3 targets, 3 catches, 13 yards. It is what it is. Rough rookie year. You also got Austin Eckler there. Just some things going on. And 4.2 fantasy points was his best week against the Chiefs. So not the greatest start, but that doesn't mean we can't move forward. 6 foot, 217 pounds. He's got 4.69 40-yard dash, 4.64 at the pro day, which is adjusted for the NFL combine times by 0.05. 27th percentile size adjusted speed score. So bottom quarter percentile in speed, not great, especially when adjusted for size. Dominator in college, 50th percentile, so average. Good target share though, 9.7. Big running backs who can catch passes out of the backfield is something you always want to be interested in, just on a base case, baseline scenario as a prospect. Because if they get an opportunity, they get some runs, there's a good chance they can be used on short yardage, goal line situations, and then also they're proven to be used on passing scenarios. Let's move down to his college stats here, down here at the bottom. Let's just rehash that out real quick. So right here, we're looking at his college stats. 946 yards as a freshman, 10 touchdowns. That's when people really started to get onto him, started to get woke on Isaiah Spiller. Then back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Again, looking good in those years. Had some big moments coming out of the college football ranks at just 20 years old. Young prospect. He had 20 or more catches in each season, which is solid, which is consistent. And one thing to note is he was catching balls downfield, getting targets on wheel routes, which is good to see from a running back, especially a bigger running back at that. So there is some juice in the passing game. Maybe he develops a little bit more in the offseason, and maybe that'll allow him to get some opportunities. As long as Austin Eckler's there, you expect him to get a lot of run. Expect him to get a lot of run. But in the back part of the depth chart, if he develops, if he does better, if he hits on his upside, you could end up being the RB2 here. I mean, Joshua Kelly coming out wasn't the greatest, and he developed. You got Larry Roundtree. Sony Michel's the ghost of himself these days. There's a lot of room here. Another thing you want to think about is this draft class is deep with talent. Everybody in the league, all 32 teams, could pick up a running back from this class, are eligible to pick up a running back. There's not 32 good running backs, but all 32 teams could pick one up. 6th round, 5th round, something like that, and they're eligible to compete on any roster for the RB2, RB3 role and possibly be productive throughout the season in a rookie or second year because we got that kind of talent in this year's draft. Don't be surprised from this year's draft that we have a 7th rounder, a 6th rounder, a 5th rounder, maybe even a couple come out of nowhere and start being productive because this is one of those years where you get that top talent and they'll show up at the bottom of the draft because things got diluted. Looking over his value at Keep Trade Cut, and it's been semi-steady, semi-rocky. So best thing is look at the positional ranks. So again, 3 months ago, RB31, RB33, people really hoping that he gets some run, gets some opportunity, proves himself. Remember, going into the draft, a lot of people was high on him. I was high on him at the beginning of draft season as well. Then the pro day didn't go so well. Then draft season wasn't going so well. Then the draft didn't go so well. Stock dipped, started going down, and then we got to September, and we noticed that he wasn't getting the run. Then wasn't getting run in season. Big dip in November. Now we're popping back up. As you can see, Dynasty gamers looking back onto the season, looking forward, looking at the depth chart, looking at what could possibly happen, looking at the other players in their range, and saying, you know what? Let's pull the trigger on Isaiah Spiller. Let's see what can happen here. What happens? There's no sunk cost anymore. He's dirt cheap. If he sucks, oh well. I'm not out anything. Let's see if I can catch a running back that's on the upswing in his second year. Adjacent running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Donta Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, Zamir White. There's some prospects here you might like better, or you might want to take a swing on him. The thing about Isaiah Spiller is you don't have to get him now. You can always wait later in the offseason, especially during the rookie draft. That's when I would key in on getting him. And once you're in the right spot and you're interested in, that's when I would get him. If you don't like anyone that's on the board, that's when I'd get him. I wouldn't be trying to spend any capital on him. I would just try and get him as part of a package. If I was trying to make a trade for, let's say, Mark Andrews, and I got my big package here, the guy's got his package with Mark Andrews, and they got Spiller. I see Spiller, and I'd be like, hey, can you throw in Spiller? He's almost in throw-in trade value right now, and that's going to dilute down a little bit as we infuse a lot more of these rookies, so that's going to make him a little cheaper, so you might be able to do that. Plus, that'll allow the other league mate to have a roster spot open to pick up somebody off the waiver wire or to add in their draft picks onto the roster without having to cut somebody, so you might be able to swing that. It's something you want to look at. But overall, looking at his value here, it's not too bad. You can make a swing on that as an upside play, or you can pick up another quarterback, or take a chance on some of these other wide receivers because you got like a David Bell here. You got Chig Okonkwo. That's an interesting prospect, but that's about a round later in ADP. Michael Thomas, who had like a game or two that was interesting. And some other players here. You got Terrace Marshall down there. Some guys that will give you like a game or two of production a year that you can't really count on, and that'll be on your bench, but it's going to be there. Isaiah Spiller is a player there that's just hanging out in the minutia here around RB50. Again, late 3rd round rookie pick value. More like early 4th round. But again, hold your horses on trying to swing that deal because we're seeing a lot of rookie running backs fall in the draft. And at this part of the rookie draft, you're going to swing the fences as some of these high upside running backs who fall in the draft or even fall out of the draft just in case they hit, just in case they get that opportunity. We're talking about our Isaiah Pacheco's. We're talking about our other running backs that are very athletic. I got Roshan Johnson, late third, early fourth in one of my drafts. Pulled the trigger on him. It was solid, and I was excited. I thought he was already drafted. I thought he wasn't going to be there. I wasn't expecting it. He was there. You know what? I would have drafted him earlier, but I didn't see him on the list. That was one of those things. It was a mock draft, so I wasn't taking it as seriously. But he was there, and I was like, oh my God. And I drafted him. You're going to see stuff like that. And even though these guys fall in the draft, even though they do, you're still going to have to take that swing at the pinata, see if the candy falls out, because that could happen with some of these young running backs, especially in a draft like this that is so deep in talent at the running back position. But let me know what you think in the comments below about Isaiah Spiller. Are you getting him, holding him, selling him? What's up with you? Hit that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you going forward. I want to help you with your dynasty teams, your rookie drafts, in-season lineups, and everything else. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.